All right, guys, welcome back. So we're going to be doing a little bit of PA. We got a chance to gather together today on Sunday, May 24th, to do a quick recap on your stuff, Beatrice. Rowan's just sitting in onto this call for his training, so he's just going to be watching. So welcome, Rowan. So Rowan's one of our newer interns at Urban Forex. So Rowan, I'm gonna keep you on mute for the whole time. You can just watch through if you have any questions, and after the recording, feel free to ask. Yeah, but it's more of Beatrice, you and I, we're gonna work on this. So I just watched through your CAD yen that you did.
Yes.
So what are some of the questions that you have around it?
Yeah, so my biggest question was that my timing in the sense of rhythm, like if as I was saying, the 60-15 has a rhythm. Like when you enter a certain spot, it's going to take like your body gets that feel, okay, it takes about an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours for the trade to fully work.
Yeah.
And a 15-3 has its own rhythm, and it's much faster. It's a much faster pace. You get in, you get out, because it's 3-minute candles, because that's your trading time frame.
Right.
So from switching over from a 15-3 to a 60-15,
yeah.
My question is, am I stuck at that pace instead of saying, wait a minute, give it more time because it's a bigger, it's 60-15 versus 15-3, because I think that's my problem, but I may be wrong. So that's why I wanted to ask you.
Okay, so you're going through that process of coming from a cheese side completely, and now that the market's adjusted a little bit, you're still in that cheese mentality and getting stuck in the, do I hold on longer or do I need to start exiting? Is that?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so,
and I'm not looking at the 3 minutes, just that when you get used to, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but when you get used to a certain pace, if you switch time frames, it's kind of dangerous, because you're like, okay, it should work by now, and maybe I'm getting out way too soon on all my trades.
Yeah. Okay, let me
Bless you.
Sorry,
Bless you.
She's getting corona symptoms. Sorry.
Don't say that, please. We need you.
Okay, so I have brought up the whiteboard. Let me know if you guys can see the circle. Is that visible?
Not yet on my side.
Okay, I will. Sharing is paused. Bring your shared window to the front. Is it here?
Oh, okay. Now I see it.
Now you see it. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, now I know why. Okay, so let me talk through a little bit on this, because okay, so when you're dealing with cheese, you're dealing with a market that's gone above and beyond into a new area that has nothing to its left. Okay, so that one, because there's no barriers in front of it, it's free to, whenever you get in, it's free to keep rising. So that's one of the concepts for the cheese is, okay, we got the momentum going, we get in, and then we ride. And those ones make nice higher highs and lower lows. Now, in that trade that you had for CAD yen, it was in this concept of a big uptrend pullback area coming in, and then you saw high volume on the bottom. You had an SNR pulled out, something like that, and you were trying to do a buy on that.
Okay.
Right? So that buy is not, you had a buy off of that pullback on that, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
So that you see this uptrend is not a brand new uptrend above all of this. It has so much story to the left of it, like so many barriers along the way.
Correct.
Right? So this won't work as a cheese because it's got so much, like, not only is that so many barriers, but even if you look at Asia high, Asia low, you won't be able to get that trade in properly because it doesn't have power activated also.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it as a cheese. I saw it as a 60-15. Yeah.
I'm just explaining that.
Okay.
To get that cheese rhythm going, you can't be in this style of design.
Okay.
But if you're in this style of design, then the cheese mentality just falls through. It doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I meant in terms of timing, is now you're dealing with something in terms of read. Now, whether I say this is a 3-minute or a 15-minute, it shouldn't matter. It's how you're reading this pullback coming in, and then you saw the high volume on the bottom.
Yes.
Then it did this. He held and he broke through, and you were trying to do a buy off of that.
Yes.
But there's certain criteria to it. Is the buy was not done on the first buy.
Okay. Yes, there was a couple of buys that happened, and it was, I think, a second or third try on that one. Yes.
Let's take this to the chart. Then I'm gonna walk you through here. Let me open up screen sharing to this side. Yeah. Okay. Should be visible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I see the elite community.
Yeah. Let me open up the bear. Okay. Here we go. All right. So let me open up CAD-yen. Here we are. Okay. 15 minutes. Let's open up 60 first. And this was your trading area, more or less, in this spot?
Yes.
Okay, let's open up to 60 and let's work our way. So I'm going to get rid of everything so we can just see your trade is in that spot.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to widen this up a little bit, but I'm going to also read the whole thing. Before I widen it up, let me read the whole thing. I'll widen it up so you guys can see easier later. Okay.
Perfect.
So what are we looking at? We're looking at what you said was the flow had gone from a down to sideways, sideways to up. And then the buyers were in control until the thing started to roll over here. Like sellers kept hitting it. Sellers kept hitting it until you saw a high volume peak right here, which you call the climax, right? Which is correct.
Yes.
You saw a high volume peak there, or high-ish volume, high enough, right there. And that happens to be an SNR area, which is important, right? This area more or less. Right? If I draw it like that. But in that zone, you got that high SNR area, which means this is the buyer's spot. If the sellers are hitting it, based on how the sellers are coming in, would you say the sellers got still more steam left to go?
Yes, yes.
So,
yeah, I saw that. It was only a second push, so a third could be coming, yes.
It could be coming, but if a third has to come, where would it come from?
From that, the deeper, it has to pull in deeper to a logical area.
Either here, or can it even use this area?
Perfect, yes, yes.
So we know a third push can be possible, but the volume is telling us stick to the buys for now until proven otherwise.
Correct.
Okay? So even though there's a secondary strong push, which tells us a third push might come, we are in an area that we want to get away from this and get away from that as much as we can when we do our buys.
Correct.
So that's the game plan.
That was at least initially my game plan. Yes.
So that's the game plan, and that's our starting point of now I know what the 60 is up to. There is a bit of confusion for the 60, whether they want to sell or they want to buy, but as long as I'm buying low, I should be okay, and I'll be able to get away with a win out of this. Okay. Now, are we talking about taking a trade all the way up to here?
No, I was not planning. Just to that second top SNR was a goal.
We're trading the lower time frame, the 15. We're like, just get me a trade today. Just want to make, whatever the number is now.
Yes.
I want to just get some profits out of it, and I'm done for the day.
Correct.
Okay, so let's get rid of this, and we say, okay, it's coming down, down, down. High volume spike comes in. So now let's observe this on the 15 with all of that information. I'm going to put that line back, okay, where that high volume peakish came in. It's on this bar, okay, which happens to be support-ish area. It's not perfect support, but it's support-ish. It's, it's never perfect, right?
Right.
Okay, and we know that that was the initial push, and this is the secondary push coming down.
Yes.
Now, the secondary push coming down is doing this. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm doing that, normally I only look for the flow if it's in a pullback.
Yes.
Right? So I would be looking at, is it struggling to go up? And then we do the sell again. But this time I'm looking at the struggle here also. Why is that? Why am I looking at the trend struggle?
Because at least the way I saw it is that if it's the sellers are struggling that hard to come down, the momentum is slowing down. They don't have as much. It's not as if it came down with one candle. onto the bottom, and then the strength is showing you that it's fading even in the second push. At least that's how I saw it. Yes.
What I mean to say is, if you're in a trend and the trend's like this, you can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times if you want to.
Yes. Yes.
We only look at it, the momentum slowing down during the pullback phase.
Yes.
So we can rebuy, right?
Yes.
So it's the pullback that we're concerned about, not this upward movement. But in this case, we're also watching this movement to see how is he doing and why is that? Why are we not focused on the pullback, but rather the movement as well?
Well, I think the answer is I'm not sure, but I think that the reason why we're focusing on that is because it matters how it comes down. Like I said, if it came down with a lot of strength and volume, the buy might not be a good idea. You might want to wait for it to die down first. But because it's coming down in a structured and a slow format, that maybe it is coming down to a stop. At least I think that's what.
Maybe I'll switch the question around. Let's say this is a strong downtrend, as you see here.
Okay.
What would we do to prepare for sales? What do we need to see? How does this pullback need to come in?
Structured and slow, and not
structured and
in
struggling,
one,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that part you're with me.
Yes.
So I'm not looking at when will the pullback come in. I'm just looking at do your thing, go as much as you want, and then when you pull back, I will start monitoring the structure.
Okay.
Right. I'm not monitoring the structure on this because it can go as much as he wants.
You just wait for the pullback. Yes.
I just wait for the pullback to come in, and then I can say, okay, therefore it's pulling back now. But in this case, when we're looking for that buy, we're also monitoring the structure because it's not a standalone, the 60s and an up. For them,
it's because that is a pullback. Got it. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that one.
So
yes.
So having that said, this is not the trend leg that we're ignoring. We have to monitor that as well to see what's the power of it.
Yes, it is a pullback. That's why we're monitoring it. That's the answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it was like a brand new, it's out of the box, like a cheese thing, we should never say, oh, and then it's overextended. It can keep going. But this is part of a story that's inside another story kind of thing. So, all right. So it's coming down, it's coming down. It's coming down several times, right? Which is getting, it's getting out there, it's getting overextended. And then the high volume comes down at the end. It's not after a strong push down and then a high volume. It's struggling push down and then a high volume at the end. That's a buy. That's a buy. Okay. So now, did we buy it at the bottom?
No, because we need to see how the buyers come in. Yes.
Okay. So once that happened, we know buyers have already activated here in this area. They're already activating, but we need to know that it's not going to keep cascading down. So we're trying to get a little bit more confirmation. Either we get in on the test of that as trade number one, or we can do it the secondary way, which is, okay, if that is the buyer, then this SNR is going to be proven to be broken, which it did. And you notice that as well. You're like, oh, that SNR didn't hold. He just went straight through.
Yes.
Once he went straight through and he hit this resistance, what's it supposed to do now?
Well, if it was the buy, it could bounce to that, use that SNR to bounce off of the first one.
Yes. There you go. So I'm going to put you in the shoes of, and you bought this right here.
Yes.
If I say you bought this, what are you concerned about?
That SNR area on the top and how it will react.
And how many SNRs do you have?
I didn't hear the question. What did you say?
How many SNRs do you see?
There is that one with the red line on the top right there, and then this the one on the very top up there, further up on the top.
Further up here. Okay.
Yes.
But there's this also.
Oh, I see. But that one went through, so that but you wouldn't have known that when you entered. But yes,
correct.
I see what you mean.
If you bought this and then it went through, and you're like, oh, okay, that's great. So what's the next area you would be concerned about?
The next red line, yes.
The next red line. So you're in the trade. Now it pulls back to SNR. How do you feel at an SNR area? And it's reacting. It's giving rejections.
It feels good for the buyer because now that it's turned into, yeah, it's good for us. Yes.
It's good for us.
Yes.
Remember, we only come to this conclusion by reading the whole thing saying, okay, you therefore bought that. Okay.
Okay.
So now it's rejected. What happened?
It hit there and reacted again.
It's come down in two-legged
Yeah.
movement.
Yes. Okay.
How about now?
Now it's reacting the same SNR again. So now we're starting to worry, like, what's going on? Why is it not taking off to the upside?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Why does it keep coming back there?
And then so second attempt, it goes.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
When it gets there, no, I need to get out of this because something isn't right. The buyers are not kicking in.
We need to cross this level. It has to cross.
Ah.
If it doesn't cross and starts coming down, are you going to hold on?
No, we're going to get out because it's been doing that.
Here's
Yes.
the thing. Our trade, the one that you took, activated here. Thinking that that's a support, therefore I will buy. But the story says, but now it's too late to buy.
Because it hasn't been able to cross.
Location is great, but the location needed to be done earlier. Like the trade needed to be done earlier. So at least.
So if I come into the office at that spot, I need to just wait for it to cross the top SNR area.
Yes, because by you, like, there's one thing you're doing correct is you're no longer buying up in these areas, right? Like, and back in the day where we're just chasing it. Like, so you're buying with the buyers, that's for sure. But then now we're going to tweak it a little bit. Are you buying with the buyer still alive, or are they like panicking and quitting?
Okay.
So in this process, it's creating this system of there's your low and there's your high. And then once again, there's your low and there's another high. So when we're activating a buy, it's in the middle of it.
The thing I don't want to do. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's because you're not able to get through this area. So we're aware of these extreme spots. Okay. If we're in the middle of it, then it needs to hold and take off immediately. But if it doesn't take off, that middle spot is now invalid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. Because I was reading it, that story you just said, I read it in the 60 and I can see it in the 15, but I wasn't able to like do it in that smaller scale. I need to carry through the story. You know what I mean? Like I read it all the way through and then I got here and then I'm like, enter, stay, come on, work. You know what I mean? I need to keep through this. You know, I don't know if you experienced this where at least, you know, it's been a while for you, but when I'm like, okay, this is the entry. Now my only focus now becomes, okay, I entered, where should I exit, instead of keep reading the story as you're trading, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So the entry that you had done in here, I think it was this one because it did give you an initial burst, right?
Yes. And I got 70% at the top.
You got 70% up to this area.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's a good thing that you did there. But if I go back to the hour and then I see this area, it's like, okay, maybe you'll get a reaction off of that area more or less. But is it that important, this area? Not really. Not as much as, you know, maybe this guy up here or that guy up there, but something small is here. So you might get a reaction. But did we even get to that line up there?
No, not really.
It was slightly earlier. So like, okay, I can see why slightly earlier. There's something here. So it's a great thing you exited. But now, if that's the mindset of I got to get in, I got to get out, then you need to book this fully.
Okay.
If you're in that 15-3 rhythm, then that needs to be booked fully, knowing that I'm not in an overall uptrend story that's nothing to my left side. It's above and beyond.
Yeah, I see. Because while I was in the trade, I didn't realize maybe that I was doing the 15-3 rhythm. But when I evaluated my post analysis, because I listened to all of them on Saturday morning, I realized maybe that's what I was doing. So going into next week, I'm going to have to let go of that somehow. I don't want to do a 15-3. I love the 60-15. I read it better. I'm better at it. So I just need to be aware that that's that the rhythm is what I'm, you know, I need to get rid of that. There's no other choice because this is a better read for me. I don't know if you've noticed that. I read easier.
Yeah. So the spot you got in, great. Like you can still do that, but you got to be aware if you're not able to cross through this area once again, you're in trouble.
Yes.
But if
Okay.
you know, you come to that story knowing that information,
Yeah.
it's good that you extracted money there. Like for sure, that's a great thing that you did there. And
Yes.
then the remaining 30% break even, or even if it's on a little bit of a loss, that's okay. But that
Yes.
extraction was very important.
Yes, I had 30% was at break even, so I ended up with just a little bit of a profit, but I
Yeah.
really would like to have caught the buy that went through to the top. And I was it was only like a few candles later is what I'm saying. And I don't know if you saw every Monday through Friday, I did that where I took 70% and I wasn't at a loss, but just a few candles later, every trade just, went exactly where I said it was going to go. So
Sure.
that's been my frustration this week.
Okay. So couple
Yes.
things. So there's that buy right there.
Yes.
But that buy was preceded by a high volume on the bottom.
True.
But that buy, how did he go up there? How did
It's
he get up?
struggling. He's
Struggle,
struggling.
struggle, struggle,
Yeah.
struggle, struggle.
Struggle. Yes.
Now, is a struggle normal, or it's not supposed to struggle if there's a high volume on the bottom? It's supposed to be buyers supposed to kick in.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted buyers to show up with
Correct.
strength. Yes.
But in the earlier part of this recording, we said that's one push down, two push
One.
down.
Yes.
The sellers might still be alive. So it's almost normal, but it goes out of the mind quickly because we're focusing on the buy.
That's exactly right. And I need to do better with that. Yes. So
Yeah.
I have to keep the whole story still in my head while going for the buy.
Correct. The
Yes.
quickest thing to do is when you're on the 60, you can just plot this in there and be like, okay, there's an arrow there. And then you know that if there's a struggle and you see that arrow, you're like, I know why there's a struggle. Like maybe just plot in an arrow.
Okay. That's what I'll start doing so that I can keep that. The red arrow will keep me, remember what the story is.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, I use just the MAs. It's just in the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm going against the flow. I can see that. And that just keeps me on track of I know what the 60 is doing. But you can just plot an arrow and that should be sufficient as well.
Oh, that's actually a very quick way to remind my brain, because like you always say, once you enter the buy, your brain gets hijacked and you're like, okay, the buy should work now because I said it's going to work. And you're like, wait a minute, what about, and then you get out of the trade, you're like, wait a minute, bitches, what about all the other stuff you learned? As soon as I exit the trade, I remember it. It comes back. So the arrow might be good to keep me in check while I'm in the trade.
Yeah. So now here's the next thing. He gets from here to there and he starts to roll over. Any volume indication anywhere?
No, none.
No volume indication on buyer stepping in or seller stepping in, nothing. It just then, as he rolls over from here, we get some seller, like some increase in volume at the seller. Okay. But what happens after that?
Nothing.
Okay. It's loading up still. Because this thing just, what it did was this down move just reacted up hard. And now that's basically, it's looking like a little bounce up there because this whole movement, is it an uptrend?
It is in that little time frame, yes.
Yep. So it's a downtrend preceded by an uptrend. And now, do you believe the uptrend is over or the downtrend is going to kick in?
The downtrend is going to kick in.
The downtrend is going to kick in, but is it at an area for the downtrend to kick in?
No, we need a deeper pullback. Yes.
Deeper pullback. And we had high volume at the bottom indicating buyers are still around?
Yes.
Give me a test off of this and I'll buy it. So when this uptrend died, we extracted some money, but it's not over yet. It's still game on.
Oh, okay.
So that right there is one profit. You could have taken 2 profits out of it. You got one of it. Great. That's still good.
Yes.
There's trade number 3 now coming. That trade number 3 is when this starts pulling back to where? You see that seller? That last
I
seller?
noticed that. I noticed that. Yes.
We extract that out and prices around there start reacting. Hard reaction off of that area. One more test, hard reaction from that same spot. You are now, if this is the lowest point, that's the highest point. You're in the closer part of the lower point. So if you enter in these areas, your stops can just stay here, and then you get another potential push this time saying, you better get through it.
Yes.
Okay. And once he starts going through it smoothly, all green bars, nothing to worry about.
I was so close. Yeah, next week, I'm going to push through this part because you've done so well with bringing me so far, but I feel like this last week, this has been my hiccup. This has been my little adjustment I need to make. And you just,
Yeah, so that's trade one.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can go. That's a possibility. He didn't go. That's trade two, second attempt, no problem. We'll do that. Because he can go, but he didn't go. Both of these still give a little bit of profit because you're aware that it always doesn't just turn around and just take off. It can take some time. No. Then it rolls over and it comes down in one push, two push, full reversal, test of that.
Okay.
That's your third trade, third attempt.
So you would know that my question is, I'm thinking if while I'm in the trade, you see how it came down and then it tried and then failed and did a second test, you would know to wait for the second test. Is that what I should be expecting? You know what I mean? Because I would think, oh no, it left without me. It on the not after the number two, right after the number two.
You're saying this piece here when you see that green bar.
Yes. Would I?
No, because okay. So for example, if you've entered based off of this seller who was stuck, for example, right? Let's say you do a buy off of that because you're seeing this seller, he's coming down like that. What would you say is the design of this momentum?
Slowing down, strong, slower, yes.
Slower, and then?
Yeah. Oh, a parabolic move. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If that went parabolic, did we know to buy it there?
No, I wouldn't have known at the time. No.
If it jumps up like that, we're like, uh-oh, now you have a dilemma. You know it's parabolic, it's turning for a buy, but can we hit the buy up here?
No, it's too late. I wouldn't, because I know now it's rejected up right above that a couple of times. I wouldn't do that. No.
You have no choice but to wait for prices to come down to here. If it comes down, you can take it. If not, it's gone.
Because now I'm just acting like it's a little range there, and at least I could get out at the top again. Okay.
Correct. Now, here's another way to look at it. This range, like you just mentioned, how did that range break down?
I mean, just a small amount.
Just a small amount. Would you say from this SNR, someone bought that?
It's possible because I was thinking that it should keep going myself. So yes, I would think somebody would buy.
When it breaks out just a little bit like that, expecting deeper pullbacks in case its sells are on? Deeper pullback to where?
Oh yes, to the top of that.
Top of the range.
Look at that.
So it clears that area when it comes down. So when you buy it now, there's nothing stopping you. You're clear. All landmines have been cleared.
Perfect.
And
got it.
This area has been used so many times that it's just getting weaker and weaker.
And weaker and weaker. All right. That's really, really, really good.
Right. So it seems like, when we're looking at something like this, we're like, okay, let me draw my line there. I'm going to sell that if I can get it up there, or I'm going to sell that if I can get it up there. But there's a story that plays on in between that if you can read that, you will know, okay, do that, but don't do that.
Yes.
You got to get good at that, reading that story. Otherwise, it'll look like a technical pattern and therefore I need to get that. I need to get that. And then I stopped trading, but then this happened and why did that happen without me?
There's a story of my life last week.
And I saw that in a couple of your PAs. So it's you got to get good at reading the story, because otherwise you'll make that money that you did, and then you'll see this later, and then it'll just be a big question mark of like, but I made money. So is that wrong or right?
There you go. That's exactly my thought process last week, summarized in a few sentences. Yes.
Yeah, because it is right, but then you got this still coming, but we need to know it's coming.
Yes. So follow the story through, even in the small little area there. that, because I know that how to read the story, at least I'm getting better at it. So just do it in that little section. Because if you did that, if, for example, if we took that little range and put it in 1 hour, I could tell you exactly what's happening. And do you know what I mean? If I blew that up into a big 1 hour range, I'm like, oh yeah, of course this range. But I'm forgetting to do it in like a shrunk version in the 15 minutes.
It's the same thing. It's exactly
it
the same
is
thing.
exactly the same. That's what I just learned today.
Yeah.
That
All we know is this, and then this SNR, maybe one more somewhere in between. That's all we know about our playground, of how much space do we have before we can get into trouble.
Ah, I see.
So when this goes up and you hit that buy, for example, let's say you catch it and that buy goes up. Now you're feeling euphoric. It's doing well. But if you know that arrow is down and you know a third push can come down, what does this look like now, this type of pullback?
It looks, the buyers, it looks like he's just pulling back to an SNR for the sellers to kick in.
Yeah, but what does this design look like?
Oh, set 1, set 2. Set 2 is getting a better price.
It's getting a better price. What do we know about set 2 in terms of volume?
Low vol. Oh yes, low volume.
You see? So once you're in that
it's
buy,
Russian doll.
Yeah. Once you're in that buy, the higher it goes, you're like, no volume. I got to find a way to get out of this thing. I got to get out. I got to get out. Because my buyer who was here is not there. You see, but there's a lot of information to stay on top of. It's all in your education, but it's just a matter of focusing on it. That's the hard part.
Especially when you enter, that's the trick I'm finding, that I need to, I don't know, meditate more or something so that I can keep it all in check.
It'll go away once you cross like 50 trades, 100 trades. In the beginning, it's like each trade needs to, it needs to work. But when you do it more and more and more, you become numb to it, the emotions. It becomes less and less, it gets you going. So, and that's the main thing with money management. Make sure the numbers never go to a point where that same trade, if you would do it with a smaller number, you can do it perfectly, but a higher number, you're so involved emotionally that you forget to read it.
Ah, I see what you mean. And I've thought about that because I know that it's coming in my future where I'm going to be trading much, much larger numbers. And how do I become immune to it? And you just said it, just do it over and over and over.
Yeah. So if when that time comes and you take an account from me and you're trading 6 figures or 7 figures, we both will have a heart attack if it's not read well.
And we both want to live. So yes, I get that. I'm all about living. Yes.
So we want to make sure it's all paced out, nice and easy, steady, because the future is bright if you go steady. If you speed
I'm all about steady. Yes.
Steady is good.
At time is coming. So let's do it with the read. If you don't mind, do it for me just one more time, and I'm good. Yes.
You want to give it a go?
Okay.
Yeah, give it a go on your end, so that way, instead of me just re-explaining it, see if you can recall, and if there's something, I'll let you know.
Yes, I'll try. I'll do my best. I'm able to draw, so I'm just testing it out. Yeah, so I'm able to draw, so I'll clear that out.
Can you change the color to maybe like a purple or a black, maybe?
Okay, let's.
So it's darker.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's good too. And if you can make it one line thicker.
Do you see the Beatrice line? No. Sorry. All right. Thicker. I can do. Is this no? That's not thicker, is it?
No, it's when you click on that drawing tool, it'll give you a little drop down of.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Got it. So I think that's better, right?
There you go. Perfect.
All right.
Sorry, I'm getting old. I need big things to see.
If you're getting old, I'm in trouble. So. Okay. Here. So that we'll begin here. I will show you. So this, I'm going to try. I'm not going to. Wow, look at that straight line. All right. There you go. So that's an SNR area. So we're going to start off with the 60. I'm seeing clearly, there was a hold here and we're going up, and we already explained all that. Can you move it to the middle a little bit? There you go. Slide it over just a little bit.
Oh, slide it over?
To the left.
Okay.
To the other side. There you go. So, and then, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. And so we have this push coming up, and clearly now the pullback is rolling over on the 60. We have this push here, and then we have that.
Okay.
There. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
Did I
I was.
skip over?
Yeah, just make sure you draw whenever you're speaking, because I can't see what you're pointing at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Again, your imagination, Naveen. Okay, so no, joking. All right. So this is the first push, and then we have the second push. Let me see. And what I was saying is earlier is that I also acknowledge that I see these buyers coming up here, and then it started to roll over, and then we have the sellers pull back. So for the 60 guy, we're expecting a third push because of the fact that the first push came, and then the second push is stronger than the first push. So I'm going to keep that in mind and have an arrow somewhere in this area. Okay, I'll do it that way. Showing then.
Yeah, that is one thing. Can you also tell me, how are you sure the sellers are in control, or are you sure the buyers are in control? Who's in control?
Oh yeah, in this time frame, the buyers are clearly in control. This seller is just a pullback to a logical area for the buyers to take over, at least from this perspective. That's how I see it.
Okay.
And so this sellers are pulling back. This is the pullback phase of this trade. The sellers, even though they're coming in with a lot of strength, in the 60, the buyers, the big buyer, this big buyer here is in control for now. Anyway.
Okay.
So we go down to the 15, and I'm going to try to do.
So if you can clear your drawings, I'll take it to the 15. Okay. I've already put in. I'll put in this arrow as well for you.
Thank you.
Okay, and 15. Okay, now you should be able to draw again.
Okay, good, perfect. So now everything is good up until then. The 60 has been read. Now I'm going to look at this 15 like you taught me. So I'm still going to pay attention to this and this here.
Yep.
But actually this doesn't come out. Now I see more details, so I'm going to do it this way, like that. So it is coming down like that.
Okay.
And that matters because now I know this is a pullback for the 60. So that is why I'm paying attention to it, because it's a pullback and how it's coming in. Then we have the volume here, which is a climax volume at the bottom of this. And so I see there's a tiny little SNR area here that I need to read. If I'm coming in at the end of that red candle, I'm imagining. So, okay, now the buyers are coming up. Let's see if it respects this SNR, because SNRs are meant to be respected. So as it comes up, it's like, wait a minute, what happened? They disrespected this guy so badly, and they came up, up, and then wait, they're holding at that area where they should, what it should have been like, a seller the seller could have gone down like that, and then you know what I mean, and then kept going, or it could have done a double take where it comes higher and gone, but it didn't do that. It just went straight through, came and held, and look, it's still holding. So now my job is to figure out what is happening in this little buyer, this little area, which is what I'm going to be doing from now on. And then, okay, so the buyers react the first time. Wait a minute, what's happening here? Why is this not able to go any further? So that's what I would be asking myself at this time. And then it comes down, wait, again, we come up and hold. So now I'm thinking, okay, if I was to buy here, I would need to anticipate an exit here, right? Am I good so far?
Yeah, so I don't think this is an attempt of a buy quite yet.
I'm just noticing that it's holding so far. I wouldn't have entered there yet, but here I would think to enter.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
That would be my first attempt, because now I see the story, because I've read that the SNR it was disrespected. Now it's holding at the top once, twice. But I wouldn't do that, because when I learned from you today, that was the old Beatrice. The new Beatrice would know that I have to split myself. I no longer exist in this old Beatrice, but she would have bought here. But this new Beatrice would say, why is this keep holding? This is a third attempt. It's the buyers are done. So give me something else. Give me something to show that this thing is refreshing. And so now I'm looking at the trap buyers here. this trap buyers. Is that what you were saying earlier? Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm drawing
but
mess.
it's this now. Sorry, let me get the drawing out one
I'll
second.
clear this out.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
okay.
So up until this point, it's like all of these buys have finished their attempt.
Okay.
Now, if the sellers are gonna come down again, we're like, good, come down as much as you want, but I want you to show me that you are holding this area. That's why
Okay.
we call it a test, right? Test that area
That's
once again.
yes.
So come down in this style fashion of slowing motion, but don't go down, like don't go below, otherwise it's going to create the third leg,
Of course.
right? So if he doesn't go
Yes.
down, then we're okay. That means this volume buyer is a real guy. We need to focus like on
Okay. So
capturing it.
perfect. So now I would wait, and so this seller would come down in the this seller here. I'm sorry, I know that's what I'm looking at. That seller coming down. Okay, wait a minute. He came down to this area, and then bounced like that. At that
Yep.
point, I wouldn't know to enter, and I'd be like, "Whoa, what's happening there?" But wait, it's at the top. It's still acting like that little range,
Yep.
and it came, that seller came out of the range. If I was trading a range and I saw that little exit, I'll say, okay, I need a deeper pullback, and he gave me that deeper pullback. And now it comes down and it's holding in the same area again. Now I would enter, but uh, I would enter in that area knowing that there's an area here that could give me trouble.
Yep.
But also because I see this arrow coming down, I would know that, wait a minute, remember in the 60, this is just a pullback. I
Yes.
need a deeper pullback to an area like that or a little lower. So it's possible. So I would be, as it's coming up, this area I would be watching and then see if it comes straight through. Okay, what other areas? This is holding again. Why? Well, it makes sense because of that. But then if it came through and then now I'm seeing this hold right here, it's time to exit my trade because
Yeah.
it would be
You see
one,
the
two, three.
momentum slowing down on
Yes,
the way up.
true.
That momentum slowing down is basically your clue of, don't hold on too much longer. It it might turn on you. Now in set one, set two, obviously we know it's going to range and this and that, but
Yeah.
don't wait for that to come down range and you're like, okay, and therefore I exit there. Like that's a big loss of profit.
Yeah.
So try to anticipate, okay, it should be around here or around there where I need to get out, but I will change my plans accordingly based on what it's doing.
Okay. I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
I
good.
see that.
It was good.
Yeah. So just, and then if I knew that it was coming to a pullback, that set one, set two really meant a lot, knowing, because I know that if I was selling this, if I was, for example, if I was looking at this just alone, say, okay, oh, it's a seller's territory, where would I sell? I wouldn't sell here, I would wait for this to come in to sell, because I say, okay, this, give me a price better than that, and I will sell. So if I'm in the buy, I have to think that way too.
Yeah. Should I be concerned? Here's a trick question. Should I be concerned until price doesn't reach here and I can be like, no, just stay in the buy until price gets there?
If I'm in the buy from the bottom, you say?
Yeah. Should I
Yeah.
just be like relaxed and be like, until it
No.
doesn't
Oh
reach?
no. Oh no. No. No.
And
No.
why is that?
Because first of the way the buyers are coming up is not very convincing, and there's no volume.
Good.
Yes, and so for that reason, having have read the whole story coming into this, I would say, okay, wait a minute, what's happening? Every move would give me pause. Every move would be like, let's reevaluate what's happening, until I got to an area where I was like, okay, this isn't right. I probably most likely exit there.
Okay, so
because it's holding.
There's that issue of it's struggling on its way up.
Mm-hmm.
There's that read of 60 telling you a down is still possible.
True.
And then the third one, if this was a range that broke out and got down till here, what kind of pullback do you expect? Back into the range?
No, not at all. To an SNR or to the bottom of that purple line right there.
There you go. That's another sign telling you you're going to have problems way before getting to that blue X mark.
The way broke the range.
Yes. Because when it breaks the range that hard, we're looking for, okay, what's the nearest SNR that we can possibly do the sell again from, not get up to here. Because if it gets up to there, then it's like, well, this guy means nothing then. Whoever did that strong breakdown is useless because we just made a 90% pullback.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So again, it's a lot of information coming at you. Let me sum it up into one question with, what is the one thing that you want to fix going into the week ahead?
The thing that I'm going to take away from this session with you is that I need to follow the read straight through. And two things: the arrow, I'm going to add that as my little, brain trick. Say, hey, pay attention, but just keep. I'm reading the 1 hour, so just do the same thing in the 15. Don't lose your mind once you enter. Keep reading straight through the same thing you've been training me. What is the buyer doing? What's the seller doing? Just keep reading as I'm going.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So these are the two main things we're going to work on, not the entries, not is there a third attempt, fourth attempt, like all of that stuff is out the window right now. It's just the read and then the arrow.
Yes. That's all I'm adding to my trading next week. Just like I said, I can do it in the 1 hour. Don't lose my mind once I enter. Just keep reading. Stay calm. Keep reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Makes sense?
Makes perfect sense. Now, one last question is, I know we said that I'm going to do my videos a little bit longer so that I can show you how I come to the trades. Have you seen anything that needs tweaking on that side?
I like that you're doing them live now so I can see it, but then this last CAD Yen one, I wasn't able to see how you got to it. I only saw once.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to see the read leading up to, I see this, this, and this, and this. I'm waiting for my entry here, and then that's how I entered. But then I wish I got this price because it ran away, and then I got FOMO. I just jumped in. Like, I want to see that process of what's happening.
Okay.
Because once the PA is done at the end, then I can't feel it. I can't feel, the common mistake that happens over and over again.
Okay. Or I will do that. Absolutely. I'll make sure, because I want to know if that part is good as well. The picking of the trade before we get to this part. Yeah. I will do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good pick. It was a good pick. What made you pick CAD Yen?
I actually I've created a purple list now. I go through all the trades and I mark them purple, and so at the end I have the purple list, and then of that purple list I pick the best of the purple list. So it's kind of cool. So but CAD, those 3 yen pairs in my purple list, and it's 2 CAD pairs. So CAD and yen seemed very interesting, but it came from just the setup and the fundamentals as well. But yes, that's how I picked it. And so once I have that purple list, I don't look at any more pairs. It's usually 4 or 5 pairs. And then from those 4 or 5 pairs, the one that moves the best for the entry, that's the one I enter. So what I'll do is I'll start showing you my purple list and how this is my top 5 setups for the day, and I'm stocking them and then go from there. Yeah, I call it the purple list. So,
no, that's fantastic. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Rowan, what do you think?
I think this was a pretty good PA, and really dive deep into the mindset and all the steps required for the trade to work. Or it was pretty good.
if I was to give you one recommendation, I would become best friends with Beatrice very soon, because she's going to be rich. So
that is true. That is no.
Maybe I can drive a Ferrari one time.
You're growing at a fast rate, Beatrice, and I'm very proud of that, and you should be proud of it too. You're putting in the work. You're doing what's needed to be done. You're doing good. Just keep the pace going. If we need to revisit something or we fall down, and then we can just get back up and pick up from where we left off again. So
perfect. And just to add one thing, the only thing that I've changed is 2 things. Well, Lucas recommended a book by Carrie Dweck saying about mindset. So I'm going to do a little video for you guys explaining the book, because that really changed the way I look at everything. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. But the second thing is lofty questions, because before I used to write affirmations, like, you know, I'm a skilled and consistent trader. I would write it every morning and I would read it before I go to bed.
Yeah.
But I switched it to because then my brain says, you know, well, you're not a highly successful trader. So,
Yeah.
but the thing I switched to, I don't know if it would help anybody, but if it's just saying, I started asking lofty questions. I say, why do I make $1 million trading the Forex market? Now my brain can't tell me it's like, what? Why do you do that? And then I find all the time my brain is giving me like, well, your PA, you're this. It's giving me answers to a question that, because your brain it doesn't know how not to answer a question, your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool how all the time my brain is giving me like, okay, do your PAs, do this, because it's trying to answer a question I keep asking, like, why am I so successful at trading Forex? You know,
Yeah.
instead of, I don't know if that will help anybody, but I found
It's a good
really
thing.
is helpful to me.
I generally work along the same lines for my morning routines as well. Is you have to ask an open-ended questions like, why do you deserve, you know,
Yes.
the spot you're in or where you're headed? Like when you ask that question, then you have to answer in a way where you don't feel bad because you're putting in more work than the next guy. So you're like,
Yes.
and that's why I'm gonna be $1 million trader, and that's why I am $1 million trader, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
But you need to feel it yourself that, and this is why I'm better than everybody else. It's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh my God, there's so much ego. No.
No.
Own it. Own it. Like forget what people think. Just own it. You need to tell yourself why you're better than the next person.
Yes, and this I learned from you on the Thailand trip, where I focus on my why, like my purpose before I start trading. I have pictures of my children. I have pictures of the things I want, and I really focus on why am I trading in the first place? What am I doing this for?
Right.
And so when you do that, when you come into a trade, it's not just another trade. It is the trade. You need to focus. You need to get your attention, because every trade is just, you know, and so it really helped. That was great advice that you gave us in Thailand about, you know, why are you doing this? Is your purpose? What is your why? Why do you do this at all? Why do it at all? So yeah.
Yeah, that will help you stay on track always. If you come out of track because of bad trading, you cannot fix it by just education. You need the education along with, I can't make mistakes like this because my why will not be reached if I fool around with bad trades.
No, you can't. You don't even, your brain won't even give you the option, especially if your why is big enough. It'll carry you through any kind of setback, trades, whatever. So I owe that to you. So thank you very much for that. That really does help me every morning in my meditation. So
yeah. I'm glad.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Well, hope it was useful for both
useful.
of you guys. Beatrice, mainly for you because it's your PA, and then Rowan for sitting in today.
Yeah, thank you for that. It was very useful.
Yeah. It's it's Beatrice allowed it, so it's.
Thank you.
Don't worry, you owe me a Ferrari, so. Yeah. All right. Well, it was nice, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah, have a great day too. Bye-bye.